Last week I turned 29, and at my birthday dinner, my husband asked me how I felt about entering into the last year of my 20s. And it set me into a brief spell of reflection where I had to ask myself, how do I feel about entering into the last year of my 20s? And immediately, what it reminded me of was a pattern that I noticed early on when I was in high school when I would journal every year on my birthday. I would write down how my year went, if there were things that went well or went poorly, and I would essentially use it as kind of like a New Year's type activity where I was just reflecting on the year overall, asking myself, am I happy with how I spent my time and how I spent my life? Or are there things that need to change? And after several years of doing this, the big pattern that I noticed was that the years where I was really ready to get older, the years where I was like, yes, I am ready for another year. I'm ready to be 16 or 17 or 18. Those were the years that typically came after me feeling really, really proud of how I spent my time in the past year. I typically wasn't excited to get older because the actual number or the age that I was turning. It was mostly because I was just really proud or really like excited and almost like felt like I used my time well in the past year. And so I almost felt ready to move to the next year. I felt ready for whatever was coming next. The years where I wasn't excited for the next year, or when I did that journaling activity, I would feel a little disheartened. I wasn't ready to get older. I felt like I almost needed more time. These were always the years that came after a lot of time of me not feeling like I utilized my time to its fullest. A lot of time of me kind of feeling like I sat around and maybe just did the bare minimum or got through. So even if I maybe got good grades and showed up and did what I had to do, it wasn't like I was going above and beyond what I was capable of in these points in time. Personally, I found this interesting because what it basically was telling me is that it didn't really matter how old I was turning or what age I was. That wasn't what determined if I was ready to get older or not. It was really more about how I felt about myself and my life in the years where I actually feel like I showed up for myself and I lived my life to the fullest, that I actually took advantage of what was in front of me in my life. Those years, the number was actually exciting. It was like, I'm ready to get older. I'm ready for more. And the years where I wasn't excited to get older, it wasn't because I was scared to get older. It was because I felt like I didn't use my time appropriately. I felt like it was wasted. And so when my husband asked me that question about how I felt about entering into the last year of my 20s, I had to be honest and say, well, I'm not really worried about the last year of my 20s or turning 30. I've never had like a bad impression of it. I'm not super excited about it. And I do feel like it's older than I want to be, purely because the last 6 to 8 months of my life, I don't feel like I've lived to the fullest. I don't feel like I've shown up for myself to the extent that I need to feel like I'm actually using my time appropriately. And I think this is a really good reminder and just a short antidote for all of us that rarely is it the thing that makes things problematic or makes you not ready for things. It's rarely your age, it's rarely the person, it's rarely the job, it's rarely anything outside of you. Oftentimes, those things are just reflecting something that is going on or doesn't feel right deeper in ourselves. With aging being something that we are obviously as a society oh so not excited about, or we talk way too much about and we try to prevent in so many ways, it's interesting to think that there is such an internal kind of, I wouldn't say cure, but way of seeing aging differently just naturally if we can just start to address why we're so afraid to age in the first place. I personally think that we wouldn't be so afraid of the wrinkles and the gray hair and everything else that comes along with aging if we felt like we were using our time appropriately, if we felt like we were showing up for ourselves to the fullest extent, if we felt like we were doing the hard things that scare us that we're avoiding, if we felt like we were living life, if we were taking advantage of our time, if we were saying yes, if we were showing up, if we were doing everything we could to show that we appreciated this time that we've been given, I really, really think that you would have a lot less people trying to obsess over anti aging than you would people who are just really excited about it. And I say all of that as someone who is afraid in some way, shape, or form of a lot of those things. And that's, I think, part of what I personally want to bring into this like kind of next phase of my life in the last year of my 20s and beyond is just this realization that like your life is here right now. And you can actually be the one to slow it down. So, whatever it is you've been thinking about but not doing, this is probably a really good time to do it because there is no other time, right? And if you waste this time and don't do it, then you're just going to be sitting there in 6 months kind of wishing you did it sooner and wishing you took more advantage of the time that you did have. I don't want to get on a soapbox about this because this is just not what this video is for, but I will say personally, the way that I want to take advantage of my life has absolutely nothing to do with traveling more or making more money or doing any of those kind of more out external facing things. And it's a lot more about the things that I know I've been avoiding because I have been scared of failing, scared of being judged, scared of not doing them, scared of God knows what else. And because I've been avoiding them, it feels like I'm not actually showing up for myself. I think it's really easy for us to make excuses and say the reasons why we're not doing the hard things or we're not feeling like we're taking advantage of our time are because we don't have enough money or because the world is unfair and because there's all of these reasons not to. But at the end of the day, I think it really doesn't boil down to you taking advantage of your life being, you buying like a massive multi-billion dollar house. It really is more about, are you doing the thing that you are afraid of? And are you challenging yourself to really feel what it feels like to be a person on this world today? There was a point in my life where the big scary thing was quitting my job to travel more and start my own business. But that doesn't mean that's always what it's going to be. And it doesn't mean that you have to do that or you have to spend a bunch of money or you have to make blatantly stupid decisions in order to face your fears and allow yourself to come alive. We all have dreams. We all have little things we were thinking of since we were young. We all have things that we want to do in this world. And maybe you even haven't acknowledged to yourself that you want to do those things or you actually have put them there for you. But those little things are the things that are going to make you come alive. They are the hard things that'll make your life feel more worth it. There was a point in my life when I was out of shape and I, honest to God, had tried to lose weight so many times that I just thought it wasn't meant to be. So I better love myself how I am. And I'm glad I did that. And I'm glad I went through that. But that out of shape version of me wasn't running. She wasn't doing things. She was not fit. Stairs were hard for her. And there was something in her that really wanted to run a marathon. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. People in my family do not run. They do not run marathons, that's for sure. And no one in my friend group was really doing that either. But there was a little part of me that said, like, I would feel really sad if I ended my life and I never ran this marathon. And so I signed up for a marathon and it took me 2 years to train for it. It wasn't an easy process. I literally signed up for I think 2 half marathons before the marathon even happened, and the first one, after a year of running, I had to walk, like, over half of it because I wasn't in shape enough. But over time, I did get stronger, and I did show up for myself, and it was so hard. It was so hard. But that marathon and that day that I ran is still one of the best days of my entire life. It makes me emotional just thinking back to it because there was something in that entire process that was for me. There was something in it that felt so scary because deep down, I really did not think I could do it. I really didn't think I could run it. And because I didn't think I could do it, that's the very thing that made all of that hard work mean something and also made it feel like my life meant something for me in that year. My challenge for you, and what I'm also challenging myself to do this year, is to ask yourself what are the things that you, honest to God, don't think you can do and you don't think they're going to work out for you, but you really want to do them, or a little part of you inside is at least thinking of them more than once. And how can you challenge yourself to show up for them? How can you challenge yourself to put things in place to make your life mean more? Because it's not just going to happen by accident. You're going to have to be strategic. You're going to have to make it happen. You're going to have to be intentional, but it's going to be so worth it. And once you have those answers, please leave them in the comments so you can inspire other people and myself included, so we can also help realize some of those things that maybe we've been sleeping on, but they are for us. All right, guys, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.